On the road to Macstock Conference and Expo with Brett Terpstra. This is Mac Voices. Today's Mac Voices is supported by MacVoices After Dark. Uncensored, off-topic, and always off the wall. MacVoices After Dark is available as a benefit to our Patreon subscribers. Sign up at patreon.com/MacVoices. Welcome to Mac Voices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, it's finally here. We are on the road to Macstock. We kicked this off a little while back with Mike Potter, the organizer. Now we're going to start talking to some of the presenters that you're going to be hearing from and seeing and meeting if you join us in Crystal Lake, Illinois in July at Macstock. This time, I'm really happy to welcome back to the show Brett Terpstra. Brett, it's great to see you. I don't know how the time gets away from us, but it's been way too long.
We didn't see each other last year, did we? Did we?
Yeah, we saw you.
At Macstock?
Yeah, I was there. Were you there?
I don't remember. Yeah, I think I was. I seriously, I have such a horrible memory. We were talking before the show how we live and die by our phones and their reminders. And if it weren't for my phone's reminders, I wouldn't get anywhere. But anyway, I'm good. Chuck, it's great to be here. It's great to see you. Yeah, do you want to hear about my talk then?
Yeah, I mean, listen, anytime that you take a stage anywhere, but especially at Macstock, everybody wants to know what you're going to be talking about because they know it's going to be intense.
Actually, this year's going to be very much it might get intense, but the overall concept, I'm talking about Mastodon. I have, in my own social media world, I've given up on Threads. Blue Sky is okay, but I never got like traction there. I don't have enough friends to make it fun. Like all of the meta apps are what do you say? What's the polite word for? They're a mess. So Mastodon is where I found my community. I have enough followers that like everything I want to talk about, I can talk about with people. And I found it to be a very welcoming, respectful, kind space to be in, especially for tech people or marginally tech people. So I thought I would give a talk on why everyone should want to be on Mastodon, go through some of the technical details of how to set up an account, how to transfer your Twitter users to find your Twitter friends on Mastodon, how to pick an instance, because Mastodon immediately gets confusing because it's not just one service you sign up for a server. And that server federates with all the other servers. So it functions like one big Twitter, but you have a private community and you can pick and choose what kind of community, what kind of people you want to associate with before you reach out to the larger federation. So that gets confusing, and I want to talk about that. The talk is going to range. We're going to talk about what apps are great on iOS and Mac for using Mastodon. And we might even get into how to run your own Mastodon instance, create your own server. I don't know. That's the part that might get intense. That'll be really nerdy if we get there. But the rest of it, I think, is very much like baseline. I think everyone who goes to Macstock will have some interest in this talk.
Listen, I agree with you. I'm on Mastodon. You're right about it being a little confusing right out of the gate. I'm sure that I did a few things wrong when I first got on Mastodon. And so it's a different kind of service. But I love the idea that you're going to approach it this way and guide people through it. It seems like in today's world, everybody's looking at all the different social media options. And a lot, as you said, a lot of the tech folks are settling on Mastodon.
Yeah. I mean, Mastodon is somewhat apolitical, at least in my circle of it. Political stuff gets shared, but if I go to Threads right now, it's nothing but politics and a lot of propaganda and people yelling and being mean. And it's almost as bad as Twitter got before I completely deleted my Twitter account. So yeah, like Mastodon is kind of the only social media service I have a community on Facebook that I like. And I probably won't delete my Facebook account, but you mentioned you might have made some mistakes right out of the gate, and I did as well. I set myself up on a server that I ended up not wanting to be a part of because it was just, I heard that this guy was setting up a server and I like this guy. So I'm like, I'll try Mastodon. I'll just join his server. And that was how I got into Mastodon. But as I grew on Mastodon, I wanted to be part of one of the larger servers, one of the larger instances. And I learned how to transfer my user from server to server without losing followers. And so it is a lot of mistakes you could make are repairable.
That's good. I'm going to be taking a lot of notes here, I'm sure. One of the tough things about doing the Road to Macstock is I want to dive into the topics you're going to talk about, and that's not the point. But I will dive this much, and because you said you're going to talk about how to do it, I'm going to ask you why I would want to set up a Mastodon server or a Mastodon instance, of my own for myself or for friends.
That is a really good question, and I actually have never done it myself. The reasons that I know of, and I will research this further before I give the talk and decide whether I'm even going to cover this topic, but you get like a personalized domain name. So you could be chuck@macvoices.net or whatever. So like you can have full control over that. You can have full control over filters and settings. So if you wanted to limit profanity, if you wanted to limit NSFW images, require certain alt text on images, etc., like you would have control over those settings without running your own server. You are beholden to your server's settings and choices and preferences.
Okay, so it sounds similar maybe to setting up an online forum, whether it's on your website or through one of the services that you get to make the decisions, you get to set a lot of the parameters.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that makes perfect sense.
And you can also choose who you federate with. Like not all servers are federated by default. And you can specify, I only want to federate with these servers, or you can federate with everyone and block certain servers. If there's like a section, if there's a server that is all, let's say, Proud Boys, and you don't want to interact with the Proud Boys, you can just block the Proud Boys server. I don't think the Proud Boys are on Mastodon, but I'm just saying, like, just an example of someone you might want to block.
So that's interesting. The concept of the federated and the ability to control that is, obviously you see it as an advantage based on the example, and the example is a good one. But I get a little bit weird about some of that, because then if I'm not running my own instance, then I've got to find an instance that has made decisions I'm comfortable with.
Right.
More importantly, though, if they change that, then I need to be aware of it, because I may not be reaching the audience that I wanted to or intend to.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. Speaking of federation, Blue Sky is also federated in theory. Right now, there is only one server, but you can link your Mastodon to Blue Sky. And I can also talk about how to link your blog or your page to Mastodon, so that all of your posts are interactive on Mastodon. So that's, speaking of federation, those are some of the things that that federation can provide. Yeah,
I think we're all used to the X concept. Facebook is sort of its own unique thing, but the idea that if I'm on the service, I'm on the service,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I am theoretically available to anyone. Anyone is available to me, and this is a little bit different world.
Little bit,
again,
yeah.
depending, I guess, on which instance you join.
Yeah, to some extent, most of the major instances out there all federate with everybody. So it's a big pond, lots of fish to talk to, and you can find most tech people have a presence on Mastodon. I mean, even Chuck Joyner has a presence on Mastodon. So you can find everyone. You can set up just like Facebook or Twitter. You can set up your people who you follow, and I guess it's more like Twitter. So people you follow or who show up in your feed, and you can follow anyone you want to, and then people can follow you, and you can't necessarily block someone from following you. I don't think. I'd have to double check that, but it does function very much like Twitter if you use one of the major services, like hackaderm.io or mastodon.social. As long as you're on one of those, yeah, you're not limited in your scope. But it is different conceptually, and that's what we're going to talk about: is what does federation really mean?
After this much time, I'm as bad as anybody else. I use it, but I haven't taken the time, or maybe some of the resources weren't available when I started using it, to fully understand the implications of the instance you join, or some of the decisions. Yeah. And so this sounds like something.
It's not well documented. You could probably find some how-to articles out there, but it's not apparent when you decide to join Mastodon. Nobody says, and here's what you need to look out for, and here's how you choose your server. You enter a server name that you've heard of somewhere, and that becomes your server. And yeah, making an educated decision is useful.
I think this is going to be a very valuable session, because I know a lot of people, look, I'm not going to say all, a lot of people are frustrated with their social media options right now, and they're looking for something else. Mastodon might be for them, and you're going to help guide them through getting on.
Yeah. Plus, I'm there.
Well,
it's the only place you can really talk to me anymore. So come find me on Mastodon. I'll show you how.
Then that's the best reason to join right there, is Brett Terpstra's there. So, the heck with all those other services. Brett, if you don't mind, I will ask, I mean, you joke about it, but have you just completely abandoned the other social services?
Except for Facebook, yes. Threads, I got down to my last thread on Threads yesterday. I logged on, and my feed was just such tripe, nothing that I actually meant to follow. It was just like algorithmically putting posts in front of me that were making me mad. So I'm done with Threads. X I deleted a long time ago. And the only one that I maintained other than Mastodon is Facebook. And that is just because that's where my actual real life friends are. And most of the people I talk to there are people that I'll also see at the bar on a Friday night. And we just continue conversations there. And it's actually, for me, it's what social media promised all along, that kind of connection with people. And so I know Facebook can be very problematic. And I know not everyone has the same experience. But for now, for me, Facebook is a good community.
Interesting. Because I find that, for me, social media is what you make out of it. As long as I can customize who I want to follow or who I want to hear from.
Well, and that's the problem.
Yeah, and right. And
that's what happened. X and Threads lost that.
Yeah, and I mean, I still find that, Threads has gone, X has really gone the wrong way. And so maybe because for a while I just had lists, and that was the way I filtered things, and I found it very useful. I still do that. And I still find it useful, but there's still, as you said, are those programmatic things that get inserted. And it's like, wait, that shouldn't be here. Why is that here? And I don't know what the answer to some of that is, other than finding something like Mastodon where you have more control.
That was my choice. Yes.
Yeah. So Mike Potter, the organizer, has given everyone has given a lot of his discount codes, especially the speakers, to get $50 off attending Macstock. And so this is just one more incentive to come and see Brett's presentation on Mastodon. Brett, what is your speaker code?
So my social media handle is TTSCOFFs, TTSCOF. Which is where you can find me everywhere. And it also happens to be my promo code. So TTSCOF50 will get you $50 off.
Great. The website, of course, is macstockconferenceandexpo.com. Check it out. Brett's bio is there. All the bios of all the speakers are there. And I think the schedules will be up. If they're not up already, they'll be up soon, along with all the details about when, where to stay, how to get there. It's all right there. And it's going to be a great time. I know, Brett, it's one of my favorite weekends of the year because I get to see so many old friends and meet some new ones too.
Yeah. And just over the last couple of years, like every year I've met one or two new people that became part of my like close friends. Like I meet a lot of people, but yeah, like when I show up for Macstock now, I know that I'm showing up for a little, not a clique, like we're not like mean or exclusive, but like I have a set group of friends that I know will be there, that I know I will have a good time with, and that group grows every year.
And we've said this every year we've done the Road to Macstock, but the moment you walk through that door, you are friends with everyone because you have your interest in the Apple technology, Mac, the iPhone, and everything else in common. So there is, if you can't strike up a conversation about anything else, you've got that. And so, it's just such a great welcoming group of people. And I've missed one year because of COVID, and it really left a big hole in that year for me.
Yeah. I missed one year for other reasons, but I haven't missed one since. I missed it a lot.
Yeah, agreed. Brett, what else are you up to? Well, I know where folks can find you. They can find you on Mastodon. But how about some of the other projects?
Well, you can find me and all of my noodlings at brettterpstra.com. That's 3 T's in the middle. It's a horrible URL, but that has like all of my coding projects are there. All of my blogging is there. And pretty much everything I do is there. And like I said, TTSCOF on like GitHub, Last.fm, Facebook, Mastodon. You'll find me in any of those places.
Great. Folks, reach out to him on Mastodon because you won't find him on anywhere else. Brett, thanks so much. It's great to see you. I look forward to shaking hands in Crystal Lake.
For sure. Thanks, Chuck.
Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is Mac Voices, and we are doing the Road to Macstock. So we really want you at Macstock Conference and Expo. So Brett's code is TTSCOF50. Mine is MacVoices50. I don't care which one you use. Please use Brett's. But whatever you use, get there because we're going to have a blast and we want you there. Until the next time, and as always, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.